How you doing? Duff here on my way to work, and like I said, I'm experimenting with using the GoPro in the truck as I'm driving. Of course, I'm going to pay attention to the road, not to the camera, but it might work. I don't know. We'll see. Not sure how the sound quality will be in the truck. Hopefully, it's pretty good. So, anyways, like I was saying, I was going to talk about the whole SSR thing. I bought my Chevy SSR a little under, like probably 4.5 years ago, and when I bought it, I thought it was going to be like, the car that, my hobbyist car that I was going to keep forever, tweak it out and just have a love affair with my car. And as weird as that sounds, my dad has had an old Alfa Romeo since he was a young guy, like a 63, I think it is. He's had it all of his life, spent lots of money on it, and I don't know, maybe I was kind of emulating that, or maybe I was just going through a classic midlife crisis, who knows. I would have no problems admitting that that was a possibility as well. So anyways, got the truck, and I spent a good amount of money, several $1,000s doing upgrades, and really put a lot into it. Time, energy, money. At first, I was driving it on a pretty regular basis. I would take it to work once a week, drive it a decent amount on the weekends, and took it on a couple of trips. The longest trip I took it was up to Cape Canaveral with my buddy Charlie. It was the longest road trip it's ever been on. But so anyways, yeah, I love my SSR. But then over time, well, just to back up, when I met Cindy, Cindy is a big car enthusiast, and Cindy loved the SSR as well. She was actually the first person that I ever allowed to even drive the SSR besides myself. And no one else has ever been allowed to drive the SSR other than me until I met Cindy. So she loved the truck and had a lot of fun in it. But we found over time, or at least I found over time, that it was sitting in the garage longer and longer and longer. I almost felt like I was in that trap where since the truck is somewhat a collectible truck, I didn't want to put obscene amounts of mileage on it. I wanted to keep it as pristine as possible, kind of keep it in a bubble almost. And it would sit in the garage for a couple weeks at a time, if not longer sometimes. And that's been going on for a couple of years probably. Excuse me. Cut that out. So that's been going on for a couple of years. And I recognized that I wasn't driving the truck as much. And the truck was expensive, spent a lot of money on it. And but I just kind of, I guess I felt some sort of sense of security or accomplishment when you would open up the garage at night and there's your SSR hardtop convertible sport truck sitting there in the garage. And that's just the way it was for a couple of years. And then I started, I don't remember exactly how long ago it was. I guess I first started had ideas about getting rid of the truck maybe a year ago or something. Very, very passing, fleeting ideas about it. But over the last few months, I was doing more serious thinking about it, and just kind of being more practical about it, thinking about the money I have invested in the truck versus the use I'm getting out of it. And when I combine that with the fact that my Tacoma, that's one of our daily drivers, my 1999 Tacoma, was now approaching 17 years old, has almost 200,000 miles on it, I thought it might make more sense to use that money that was invested in the SSR into something new, like a 2016 Tacoma, like I'm driving right now. With the thought process being it's something that I would use every day, more practical, get more enjoyment out of it. So I ran it by Cindy, because I thought when I would mention the idea of getting rid of the SSR, she would not be very agreeable to it, because I know that she loved the truck. And to my surprise, she was actually all for this idea. She thought it was a good idea, which surprised me. And once I had her backing, that was really the last barrier in my mind as far as doing it. And I listed the car on the truck on Craigslist and on the SSR Fanatics forum, and was very fortunate to find a suitable buyer within a couple weeks. And I sold the truck for pretty much what I was asking for, which was great. And that was it. It's funny when we did the sale and we left the SSR at the new owner's place, I didn't feel very sentimental about it for some reason, which I thought was very strange because, you know, like I said, when I bought the truck, I was really, really, I don't know, it felt very important to me at the time. And based on the fact that it felt that important, it felt odd that when I got rid of the truck, I didn't feel a real big sense of loss or whatever. And that's really persisted, even though it's been a few weeks now. I still have no regrets about selling the truck. As awesome as it was, as cool as it was, I don't have any regrets. So I don't know, maybe that's just a reflection of getting older, being more mature, more practical. You know, I don't know. I think my relationship with Cindy is a big help. I think I leaned on the SSR as sort of a crutch to make up for other shortcomings I felt I had in my life. And, you know, Cindy is so, you know, loving and attentive and just, you know, wants nothing else but to try to, you know, make our lives happy. Maybe I don't need that crutch anymore. So that's probably another big reason why I felt okay with getting rid of it. So anyways, I've had this Tacoma since last Thursday. Took a little getting used to. It physically feels much, much bigger than my 99. At first, the first day or two that I was driving it, it felt weird. You know, it just felt like I didn't know where I needed to be on the road just because of the bigger dimensions. You know, it sits higher. The hood line is much more prominent. It's wider. It's longer. But it's very cool. I got the TRD Sport access cab model in Inferno Orange. Has the premium technology option, which includes blind spot monitoring, rear backup camera assist, the upgraded stereo system with navigation, center information display, all kinds of bells and whistles. Has the I don't know if you pronounce it QI or Qi or whatever, QI wireless charging system. Why didn't you go? Oh, people are so annoying. It has the wireless charging system where it's basically just a flat mat area down under the console where you just lay your phone there, and if it has the inductive charging stuff, it'll charge your phone. So I bought an adapter to allow my iPhone to do that, since it doesn't natively support it in it, and it is charging right now as it sits down there, so that's cool. But I plan to do like a full walk around of the truck, not with the GoPro, soon. So, but anyway, so far so good. I love the truck. It's great. Actually, the biggest pain is because it's brand new. You know, you fall into the trap where, you know, you want to just keep it brand new, and I'm afraid to like park it in the public lot, you know, where there's, you know, you have idiots banging their doors into it, or, you know, shit dropping on it. So when I've been taking it to work, I park it in the campus parking garage, which is considerably further than the public lot. But it allows me to keep the truck away from other cars, and actually keeps it out of the elements as well. Because since I live in Florida, you know, the sun just beats the hell out of the paint on a vehicle. So keeping it out of the sun as much as possible is a good thing. Cleared out space in our garage as well, and it now resides in the garage. So that's cool. I actually needed more space than I did for the SSR just because of the length of this truck. So anyways, that's enough blabbing for now, and hopefully it's not too bad. I'm sure it's going to require some editing, but yeah, that's why I sold the SSR. So until next time, Duffman out. Quick check-in after the gym. Nothing too exciting from the actual exercise perspective. Had some guy back there in the free weights doing, I think all I saw him doing was basically bicep curls and some dumbbell rows. But of course, his time in between sets was spent like so many other people at the gym nowadays by screwing around on his smartphone. You know, checking text messages, browsing Facebook, whatever the hell he was doing. You know, sitting on a bench, occupying a bench in the free weight area while he was doing it. So, I don't know why it bothers me so much when I see that, you know, because obviously I'm a technology-minded person, appreciate technology, but for whatever reason, it really annoys the shit out of me when I see people spending more time on their phones than actually exercising when they're at the gym. So, just thought I'd chime in. I'm out again. With the way I have this thing rigged in the windshield, I have two extensions connected together, and I'm noticing that there's a lot of vibration that's transmitted down to the camera itself. I'm hoping the anti-shake technology that's built into the GoPro kind of smooths that out, but hopefully it doesn't look like I'm having a seizure while filming, while moving. So I guess we'll find out tonight.